Prophet the Prophet. Once Mecca fell, the Prophet and the Muslims were caught off guard by some tribes outside. Though the Muslims retreated at first, they managed to counterattack and defeat the rebels. Armed to the teeth, they had brought their cattle and all their wealth so that the soldiers would fight to the death with no reason to escape, which meant that they won hundreds of thousands of cattle, sheep, camels, and gold. The Prophet was generous to dish out big sums to the newly converted Muslims of Mecca. The leaders of the tribes received in thousands, so that their hearts inclined to Islam. They were so impressed by this Prophet and faith. Such a welcome bonus was not common at the time, but one group was left out of this excessive wealth: the helpers of the Prophet who had come from Medina. There was some murmuring among that group. How could this be that we have no share? How could the Prophet give all there is to his clan from Mecca, but nothing to us? The Prophet realized their resentment and said that the helpers should gather in a place alone. They formed a crescent, and the Prophet advanced to sit in the middle. But first he paused.
When the water is muddy, do not interfere. You need to give time for things to settle, for the clouds to clear, for the sun to appear, and when they'll see the horizon of truth right away. Possession, position, pleasure, and fame are clouds that obscure the vision of the heart. Virtue disappears when interests arise. 100 veils from the heart will be cast from the eyes.
Once the chaos was over and the hearts were at peace, the Prophet spoke with a gentle tenor.
Were you not on the verge of the fire when God liberated you by the grace of my mission?
Yes, that is true, they all admitted.
Amongst yourselves, were you not enemies when God reconciled your hearts by me?
You're absolutely right. Of course, that's true and nothing to deny. We admit that is true.
Weren't you little and scattered in number? But God, through me, gave you power and wealth.
It's true, and no one would dispute it with you. Then he paused once again and took a deep breath and looked at the faces that he knew for long.
Perhaps there's something you can say in response.
May ourselves, our parents, and everything we have be ransomed for you, O beloved of our hearts. You're absolutely right, and we're all indebted to the grace of God that has come through you. The Prophet smiled and said with ease,
You should say, O Prophet, you were deserted by all your tribe till we gave you room. We accepted your call when everyone rejected. We saved your life when they wanted you killed.
And that was it. There was a resurrection. The helpers broke out into tears at once. They threw themselves at the feet of the Prophet, the greatest blessing of God to humankind. They apologized for all that had passed in their hearts. We want no spoils, but we give you as well whatever we have to distribute as you wish.
I gave them possessions to attract them to faith, but I didn't give you some solids your faith. Here is a deal, now tell me how you feel. Others will return to their homes with sheep, with cattle and camels, which you get to take the Prophet of God as the share that you keep. My confidants and supporters are indeed the helpers. If everyone chooses a path but the helpers, I'll leave everyone to be with the helpers. So show mercy, my Lord, to the helpers, and also to their children and descendants forever.
Look at the humility of the Prophet of God. He devoted his life to guide the people to the oneness of being that pervades everything. At the peak of his power, he laid no claim, not only to wealth, but not even to thanks. The prophets and friends of God were poor. Even when they had, they did not consume beyond their need and gave out the rest.
Your Prophet never ate a full stomach, nor did he own the ornaments of the world. Yet that was for him and the previous prophets an honor from God, not a sign of disgrace. But if someone is out of favor with God, he engages the person with worldly trash.
No one's been honored in this world by wealth. It's ours to decide with whom to team up. With the tyrant oppressors or the meek in spirit?
The inheritors of earth and the kingdom of heaven are those who do not open an account for their limited ego that's a shell.
If you release your drive for excess and fame, you'll expand to receive the colorless light of the heavens and earth, also known as God.
If you wish to grow, you have to let go. Cut the umbilical cord and then milk will flow.